In here. This is my car, but I don't understand about engines, and so other people out there might want to know too. What's up with the intercooler with the turbo and the radiator and all the difference between all of it? I don't get it.
So you can smoke more drugs.
Oh, okay. So that's all I needed to know, mate.
So the air comes through the inlet here, goes through a filter, okay? Comes out of the filter because the engine's sucking in and goes into the turbo here, which is driven by the exhaust. Turbine, kind of like a jet engine. It blows the air through this pipe, goes around, goes into the intercooler, which you can actually see this big air shroud channels air through the intercooler here, which, because the turbo is an air compressor, and compressed air gets hot, and engines don't like hot air. So as you're driving, cold air from outside, even 90 degree, 100 degree air outside will still cool that air in there. That air in there is 160. So the air outside, as you're driving, blows through this, works just like a radiator to cool this air before it gets pulled into the engine. So that way the engine has, you know, continuous cool air.
It's going from the exhaust back to the cooler, back into the engine?
It doesn't go in the exhaust, but the exhaust pressurizes it.
There's a turbine and a compressor, and they're basically two fans that are joined with a shaft. And the exhaust manifold blows onto the compressor wheel, which spins. Then the shaft goes through a hole where it's sealed. So the exhaust blows around the fan, spinning it around the turbine, and then blows out the exhaust, okay? Goes into the exhaust system. As the exhaust, all that energy is spinning that turbine, there's a compressor, which you call the cold, it's the hot side and the cold side. On the cold side, this compressor, since the exhaust is spinning that turbine, it spins the compressor, which compresses the entire intake system. So imagine your piston goes down and your intake valve opens. Well, you have, with this carbone stock, you have 7-8 psi of air pressure. Think about like an air compressor. You have 8 psi air pressure seen behind those intake valves. And once that piston goes down, this intake valve opens, it immediately fills that cylinder with 8 psi. Okay? Then the intake valves close, and it actually compresses 8 psi with a 9-to-1 compression already, so you're effectively creating like 17-to-1 compression, because not only was your cylinder volume, you know, 9-to-1 compression, but you're also filling with 8 psi when it was all the way down and then compressing that. And that's why, you know, the boost gives you that kick, because you're cramming so much more air in, so then the car can take advantage of that by throwing tons of fuel in, to, you know, because fuel makes energy.
Yeah.
So you get the energy to the wheels.
Caveman with a laptop.